now let's watch some pictures from Resonant Room. We already mentioned it before, but how does it work? Because these are mostly commission things, I presume.
Yeah.
How does it work with your bosses, let's say? Because it's so difficult to explain the concept for a person.
Yeah.
How can you get their expectations there, but your artistic view as well?
Well, I think mainly it's autonomous work that people commission for, let's say, an art festival or a museum. That are the two main places we work, I guess. And then I really believe that if you ask an artist to do something and you trust their vision, that you give them freedom. And every time we get more freedom, I really believe we make better work. And otherwise, we have to spend our energy and time on negotiating about the concept while we already know that it will work better in a certain way. So I never understand, like, if you hire us to do something, why are you telling us how to do it? Because then you better do it yourself. You don't need to hire us.
That does sometimes happen, but it's not the context we...
No, it's not usually...
Now you have a name. Now you can say, no, I don't do that.
It still happens. It's the same, I would say it's sort of the same percentage of... I mean, also, if people pay more money for something, they sometimes feel they are entitled to make decisions. And so it is always a negotiation. And it's also a big part of this work it's like claiming your artistic freedom. And it's not something you always get for free. You do have to fight for it.
I do think people know that we work this way, and anyway, I think it's also part of the communication that we do beforehand, explaining that this is our intention, and this is how we think we'll approach it, and how it will possibly, we kind of say it looks like this, but it can change. So
yeah, we should say that more often. I always
managing expectations.
Managing expectations. Yeah, that's it, I think.
But it's very hard because when people actually want to like buy an artwork, then they do want to sort of know what they're getting. So it's not. There's no perfect way to do it, I think.
One more thing about your collaboration, because you just said that most of the times you're involved with the sound, but you also have music education.
Yeah.
Do you also have different roles in projects, or is it always you doing the sound more or less, and you?
It depends what we're doing, because we also do live shows sometimes, and then it's more like we do the music together. Yeah. But for an installation, so I'm a musician first, and then all the other things. That's how I think about it. So if we make an artwork, we used to do at least all the composition in Ableton controlling render engine and other stuff. I've never touched a lighting desk or something in my life. I don't know how it works. And people think I'm a light artist, which is really funny. So I always have to explain, I don't know. So we would just work in the tools that we are comfortable with. So for me, it is actually like making a song, but then it happens to be also with light and other things as well.
Yeah, I think that, for example, that installation in Barcelona, I think is a nice example in which there is no clear distinction between light and sound. So yes, I create the sound, but in that installation, when I played that sound, there was a direct signal going to Nick, and he created the response to that sound, but that also influenced me in changing the sound. So
and we also
things
talk about
become,
it a lot,
we talk about it a lot.
Like, can it be more like this, or should it be non-harmonic? Or we have discussions for days and weeks about and Salvador is like the one for the sound that actually does it, but it's a collaboration.
Yeah, the lines blur, and I think that's actually part of the work, that there is no clear distinction, and sometimes, we end up, I make a sound, the light response, and we end up taking the sound out. But then I still it's the same thing.
Now we are going to watch some image from a resonant room. We were talking about it a while ago. Also, the concept for this. How did you have the idea? Were you in shower? Were you in the tram, biking? Tell us.
Now, Resonance Room is really a continuation of another work we did, which is called Aura. We did this, I think, 4 years ago at Dutch Design Week. And people have been really asking us to repeat it because it was really a success there. But it was really impractical, the way you had to wear multiple biosensors. It took 30 minutes per participant. And just the numbers don't really work in a museum, let's say.
Not corona-proof at all.
It is actually. It is.
To put a suit 30 minutes and then take it off and give it to another person?
Well, you can clean the sensor, so and you're separate from each other, so it's very corona-proof. But that's, I mean, you already know from a corona situation that the capacity for an artwork becomes really, really low. So that just doesn't work. So we
just to explain, in Aura there was one person sitting in the space. It were actually 4, but this one person was listening to a composition that was really made for kind of extreme emotions. So it was going from really happy and joyful to very dark. And the sensors were interpreting the body and trying to express the emotion in a shape and color. So this is what the installation might be.
The images are beautiful. I checked the image of Aura and they are stunning.
So that's like the prequel, let's say. And then we got a request from a museum in Haarlem, Museum van de Geest, to purchase a permanent work like similar to this. But we had to figure out also together with the museum staff how to make this into a practical work. So we ended up working with an interaction designer called Beer van Geer from The Hague. And he designed a system where you interpret a heart rate variability and you learn to influence it with a breathing exercise, like guided breathing basically in a certain rhythm. And what it does, you can learn to control your heart rate variability and it synchronizes with your breathing. And if it synchronizes together, you come into this state of calmness. So I'm really interested in also doing this sort of therapeutic spaces to calm our senses because we're so overstimulated, with smartphones and information and everything around us, that I feel we need spaces where we can calm down again a little bit and come to ourselves. So this is really work where you travel inwards a bit more.
It's kind of a human experience somehow, a legal one, like a human experience that you can do to people.
Yeah. And I think it's good to just that people take a moment for themselves and have this. It's sort of like guided meditation, you could say, but then as an audiovisual installation. So something,
I think what's also really nice to mention is that the installation is actually the opening of the museum. So it's also meant as a moment where you sit down, you kind of go inwards, and then you enter the museum. Because it's the museum about the mind, so it's quite personal, like something that's really close to you, or in you. So I think that's really, that's what I really love about it.
Just show this to David Lynch Foundation. They will love you. David Lynch Foundation.
Yeah, they contacted us last year. So that,
See?
Yeah.
I know stuff. And where can we see it? Can we see it?
Yeah, this is in Haarlem in the museum. So yeah, it's permanent. So it's and this was another challenge because putting something for 1 week or 6 months is one thing, but putting it for now at least 10 years and put very complicated software to run for that long, that's another thing.
Do you still have to redo the software as it goes, like Anima, for example?
Well, we have learned a lot of lessons from Anima, so we hope that it's there. It auto starts every day, so we hope it can just run. But of course, we did a few small tweaks in the first weeks where you see like some things can be a little bit easier. But yeah, I hope it will run for the next 10 years. That's the idea.
Exciting.